Good afternoon. Welcome back to what will be the last of the weekly live Q&A sessions, at least for the time being. So what I announced last week, these are going to revert to monthly for the time being, just due to summer holidays and childcare, and also a few commitments I've got over September, October. So they're now going to be the last Wednesday of every month. So I think the next one was going to be the 28th of August, same time of 12 o'clock. At least for the next few months, and then after the commitments are done, I may well be able to revert back to doing these weekly again, but we'll see how the monthly ones go for now. For anyone who's not seen these before, my name's Chris, I'm a physiotherapist, and I'm here to try and answer any questions that you might have about strength training as an older adult. So if you are watching this live, please do use the chat feature to answer your questions or ask your questions, and I will do my best to answer those either live today or I will come back to those in the next Q&A session. Equally, if you're watching this as a recording, you can put your questions in the comments and I will come back and check this prior to doing the next one. So in this session, I'm going to quickly announce the winner of the last week's t-shirt competition, or free t-shirt competition. Then the questions I've got prepared for this week are: why strength workouts need to feel difficult? Is muscular fatigue or reaching muscular fatigue at 15 repetitions enough? And then why you should test out your reps in reserve, and I'll go on to explain what they are. And then, like I say, if you ask any questions live, I'll come on and answer those today if I can. So as you well know, the last couple of weeks I've run a competition for a free t-shirt. So it was whoever commented on my last video was in the draw. So let's bring up the draw here. So we had 7 entrants, and I will just do the spin here to see who is a winner. So looking good for Leslie. Oh no, it's just gone over to Nadia, so congratulations Nadia. If you can send me an email, so it's chris@nevertooldtolift.com, so that's chris@nevertooldtolift.com, and then from there I'll explain how you can claim that free t-shirt. I'll also comment on or reply to your comment on last week's video as well, so you've got the good chance of seeing that there. So let's hide both of those. So, should strength training feel difficult? So this comes off the back of someone who came to see me at the clinic last week, and I'd seen her for a few sessions before where we just kind of built some confidence with some exercises and then made them more challenging for her. And then she'd gone away for a week and came back. And then when she came back, she came in and said that she felt quite daunted by the fact that they're now feeling challenging, which scared her. So she then went back to doing all the easy exercises we'd done at the start, which were just kind of setting the scene. There weren't ones we're going to just continue at that level. We were going to kind of concentrate on the challenging ones. And I completely understand why, because the reason that she came in was because she was starting to lose balance and had a fall or two, and she just generally felt weak and wanted to feel and be stronger. And particularly when you're starting to make things more challenging, it can make you feel a bit more vulnerable, particularly if you've had an issue with falls before. So I completely understand her reasoning on what made her want to revert back to the easy exercises. But this is where goal planning and identifying those goals and matching it together with the workouts you do is so important, because if her goal is to improve her balance and to improve her strength and feel stronger, then the workout that we pick and the intensity that we do those exercises at has to match the goal that we're trying to achieve. Now, unfortunately, when you're doing exercises where you're trying to build strength as an outcome of that exercise, you do need to push into a level that is going to be challenging. So we're trying to push the muscles to the point where they can't do many more repetitions. It's those last few repetitions that are going to build muscle strength. So if she was doing the easier exercises again and she felt like she could get to the end of the number that she was trying to do, so say it was 15 towards the start, and she could have quite easily done 5, 6, 7 more. She's just not going to get any stronger as a result of doing the exercise. And as I always say, it's not necessarily it's a waste of time, but when you've got a particular goal of building strength, then you could argue it is a waste of time, because it's not going to help her achieve that goal of being stronger. And she then understood it again, and within the session we were able to do that and challenge her a bit more and get her back to the point where she's felt close to that muscular fatigue within those 15 repetitions. And this also was true for balance exercises. So when you're doing balance exercises, you want to feel like you're pushing to the edge of the balance you've got. So for example, she was able to stand with her feet together, this narrow base of support, for well over sort of 30 seconds and into a minute without challenging herself at all. She wasn't able to do one leg stand on either leg for more than a couple of seconds, so that was kind of too difficult. But we did a halfway house of this tandem stance where you kind of have one foot ahead of the other and you can kind of use both feet to try and adjust the balance. And she was able to do roughly 10 seconds on each leg before she was losing balance, which that's a good sort of level to be at, because it's doable but not so easy that she's just standing there and not really challenging herself. So again, but she didn't like the feeling that she was close to the edge of falling, where she felt much more comfortable doing that. So she had reverted back to doing feet together. And again, because she could do it so easily, her balance wasn't going to get any better by keeping it easy. We had to find a suitably challenging variant of that to improve her balance. So I mention it because there's a lot of people I see that have this same fear. They've started a bit of an exercise routine, but they're just so scared of pushing on, which is, again, completely understandable. But if your goal really is to get stronger, and if it is to improve your balance at the same time, you're going to have to keep taking small steps out your comfort zone and make things more challenging in order to get those goals you're after. Now that kind of can come on to why she was in to see me anyway, because she tried a few things in the past, and actually she felt much more comfortable effectively using me as a personal trainer in the sessions and feeling safe that I was around, I could help, I could guide her. And if you're someone that's tried things at home and never really stuck to it, then it might well be, for a short period of time, some form of personal trainer or a rehab professional is the answer till you've got your confidence. And then once you've got your confidence in what you're doing, you can then carry on that at home. But yeah, that's something I just wanted to share a little bit of, because it would probably resonate with some of you watching. But yes, strength training should feel difficult, at least difficult enough to make a bit of a change. It shouldn't be kind of next to impossible, because you then start to get into issues with potentially causing yourself an injury or the risk of falling like this patient might have had, but it does need to be challenging. So that brings me nicely on to my next question I had. So I did a video, a short one recently, that explained about the need to try and reach muscular fatigue, and ideally within 15 repetitions to get stronger. And then that was kind of all I could fit in the video, and I couldn't elaborate further. But I had someone come on and ask a question of, should we not be talking about the fact that we really need to get the fatigue point closer to 5 repetitions or less in order to build strength, and that what I was talking about was more muscular endurance. And rather than replying a comment, I thought it was easier to kind of reply within a video, because again, it might make more sense to some people that didn't quite know what the different rep ranges were about and why they're so important. So to help me do that, I've got a image here, that's from a book, Human Kinetics, from 2008, but this is quite a kind of popular image within the strength and conditioning world. And so what we're seeing here is, along the top and bottom you can see the numbers there. So there's less than 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 19 and then 20 or more. And that's a number of repetitions it takes to reach muscular fatigue. So that repetition where you can just about do the last one, and if you try to do another one, your muscles just don't have any energy left in them or power left in them to achieve that. Now, there's 4 rows here. So the top row is strength, second one is power, third one is hypertrophy, so that's kind of building size in muscles, and then the fourth one is muscular endurance. Now, within those rows, we've got colours and the different kind of boldness of the font. So yellow and the really big writing is that in that top one is strength. So that's where you're going to get most of your strength. Then it goes into purple, then blue, then green. So if you then get down to greens, the writing's tiny, it's not bold at all. So it's showing you there that you won't really get any strength if you reach muscular fatigue at those reps. So if we look at those individually, so strength and power is pretty similar. Power is more your ability to produce strength quickly, and they kind of come hand in hand a little bit, but I won't focus too much on power. But if we look at strength, which is what most people are after, if you reach muscular fatigue within 5 repetitions, 6 repetitions, you're really going to get the bulk of your strength there. That's where you get the most efficient use of time. However, if you reach fatigue in 7 to 8 repetitions, you're still getting quite a lot of strength, but not as much as you would have been if you did it with lesser 6. And then if we go into blue, again, you're getting less strength again, but you still are getting some strength. But that's where we cross over to from 15 and above, you're not really getting any strength anymore. And you're just, if we work down, that's where the muscular endurance is now in yellow and big bold writing. And whilst you're kind of over 15 repetitions, all you're really getting there is muscular endurance and not getting any strength, you're not getting any power, and you're not getting any increased size of muscles. So that's why I'm always talk about this 15 repetitions. If we can get you reaching muscular fatigue at 15 repetitions, you're going to get some strength. But the reason I start there is to reach muscular fatigue at, say, 5 repetitions, you're going to need a lot more weight or resistance that you'll do the exercise with, which is then really daunting if you've never done that before. Plus, if you jump from doing nothing to suddenly doing it with a lot of weight, you could cause a bit of an injury. So I'd much rather get confident with the exercises, get confident at reaching muscular fatigue at 15 repetitions, and then once you're confident with that, that's when you can start increasing the weight to reduce the repetitions down further to then maybe initially, say, 12 repetitions, and then increase the weight further to maybe 10, and then 8, and then eventually you get down to kind of that 5 or 6 mark where we really get, for the time you spend in your workouts, you're going to get a lot more strength, and that's generally what most people want as older adults, is to feel and be stronger to be able to do the things they want to do. Hypertrophy, you'll get some strength in there as well, and that's where you get a bit of size. So if you are doing it for more vanity purposes and you want to get sort of look bigger, then hypertrophy is absolutely fine as well. But yeah, strength is where most people kind of want to kind of sit on the scale there. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got any follow-on questions from that, then please do let me know. Then before I go on to the last question that I've prepared, let me just hide those. Just thought I'd mention, if you are interested in learning more about strength training, then and how you can get started and creating a program that works around your kind of current ability level and your individual needs, then you might be interested in these free ebooks. So it's nevertoldtolift.com/start-here. All you need to give is your first name and your email, and that'll be sent out to you. And again, if you are more comfortable reading off paperback than on a screen, you might be interested in the paperback version, which you can get on Amazon. So just search Never Told to Lift on Amazon, and you'll find that there. So last question that I have prepared is why you should test your reps in reserve. So again, this follows on a little bit really nicely from the last two kind of talking points. the term reps in reserve, what it means is if you are pushing your muscles to the point of fatigue, so you're trying to get close to fatigue at 15 repetitions, if you reached 15 repetitions, I always want you to ask yourself the question, how many more do you think I could have done? Or do I think I could have done? And the answer should ideally be, I don't think I could have done them anymore, or maybe one or two at a push. If you're in that range, then you're generally going to be working the muscles hard enough to get some strength gains. If you were pushing, or you stopped at 15, and actually you probably could have done 5, 6, 7 more, then just like that first patient I talked about in the first talking point, you're not going to get any stronger as a result of doing the exercise. So that's where you know that next set you do, because you could have done 6 more, you weren't using heavy enough weight, so the next set you're going to add a bit of weight to it. Then on that set, again, you ask yourself the same question, how many reps in reserve have I got? So how many more reps could I have done if I continued? Hopefully now, by increasing the weight, we've gone from 5 or 6 to more sort of 1 or 2, in which case you can work there for a little bit and maybe keep the weight the same for the third set. But the reason I talk about it here is why should you test your reps in reserve is I was talking to someone who's part of my online course Stronger for Life this morning on one of our weekly group calls, and as well as doing the strength training sessions that she's created, she also does body pump. And at the end of doing a body pump, the deadlift track, the instructor sort of challenged them is why not use that weight that you're using and see whether you can do some shoulder press with that. And now the weight that she used was more than she would normally use for a shoulder press, and she shocked herself at how many reps she actually managed with that weight, which made her think, have I been holding back too much on my workouts at home? Because what I thought I was near the challenge point, I obviously wasn't, because I managed a lot more what I was challenged to in the class, which made me then talk to her about this idea of testing your reps in reserve. So I wouldn't suggest this if you're in your first few weeks of training, but if you've got a couple of months behind you of training consistently 2 or 3 times a week, once you get to your third set of an exercise, I want you to try and do this on your next workout is if you stop, say you were aiming for, 8 repetitions, and you think you could do 2 more repetitions and no more, I actually want you to try it and see how many more could I actually do, and not just be a theoretical, is actually do it. And I see this often in the clinic, is most people that try it think they could do 1 or 2 more, and they end up doing 6 or 7 more. And it's amazing how much more your body can do than your brain thinks it can do. And then that sometimes then gives you a bit of a realization that you've been holding yourself back, and actually you might not be getting much stronger or seeing the results you wanted because you've just been thinking that you couldn't do it. You've been holding yourself back. So every few weeks, it's often worth, and I normally, like I say, suggest it on your last set of the workout, so you weren't going to do any more sets afterwards, and just think, right, I've hit my target of 8, I feel like I've got 1 or 2 more, and just push and see. And if you only have 1 or 2 more, fantastic, you've been working at the right level. But if you can do 5 or 6 more, then yeah, you've not really been using heavy enough or weight or enough resistance to really get the amount of strength we want from the workouts you're doing. So that's well worth looking into if you are kind of a few months into your training or more. Is try that out the next time you do a workout. But for now, that is all the questions that I had prepared. So if you do have any other questions and you're watching live now, then please do use the chat feature, and I will answer that. So I'll give you a minute or so to see if any questions do come in there. If you are watching this as a replay, so you may well be watching this later this afternoon or later in the week, then use the comments feature. So I will answer that on the next call. And like I said at the start, that is now going to be then it reverted to monthly, the last Wednesday of every month, with the next one going to be on the 28th of August. But I will then answer that there. If you're not happy leaving a comment and sort of being visible to everybody, and you'd rather keep it anonymous, then please send an email. So it's chris@nevertoooldtolift.com. So it's chris@nevertoooldtolift.com. And again, I'll make a note of that, and I'll do that in next month's Q&A session. And just as a reminder, if you were interested in the ebook, that's completely free, nevertoooldtolift.com/start-here. If you were interested in the course, then it's Stronger for Life, so it's nevertoooldtolift.com/course, and you'll find some more information on that there. But for now, I think that is everything. So I hope you have a great month. Enjoy the hot weather while we have it. If you found any value from any of the advice I've given today, then a quick clicking the thumbs up button at the bottom of the video would be much appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to Never Tool to Lift on YouTube, then just take a second to do that, as you'll get informed when the next videos are coming up. But for now, I will see you in a month's time. Thank you.